Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Serious Strategy Game, and we are returning to a game of Rule the Waves 3, where the UK has just brought a massive fleet to Northeast Asia, where we in turn have invaded their possessions on the Hawaii Peninsula. So our task is going to be to bring our fleet back from Southeast Asia, where we were, to try to intercept them while they were coming our direction, and bring them back towards Northeast Asia, because right now they are they're blockading us, and that is not good at all. So let's grab pretty much everyone that we have in Southeast Asia, with the exception of a couple of these fleets here, which are currently going on trade protection, and bring all of these ships back towards Northeast Asia. There we go, that's that. And notice that a couple of these ships are actually being repaired, and we should take a look at that and see whether there's anything that we should be doing about these guys, and whether this might be a good time to actually refurbish them. So this guy here, the Katori, it's currently being repaired. I think it had some condenser trouble. We could open this design for rebuild and check on whether anything needs to be done. Now these guys do have advanced director, so that's okay. They do have submerged torpedo tubes. We could clear those. That's pretty much meaningless for them anyway. I find them to be very rarely of any use, basically. Now we could fiddle around with the gun stuff, but I don't think it's that worthwhile. What we could do is get a little bit of AA coverage. Just add a lot of light and medium AA guns on this ship. Remember, light guns only disturb ships after they made their attack, with medium guns do also disrupt airplanes before they do their attacks. Now I'd really like to have some dual purpose guns. Yeah, we can actually do that down here with the 4-inch guns, but I suspect it might be very expensive to try to get more of them. So let's not for the moment. Yeah, so this is not incredibly cheap, but I still think it's a worthwhile addition here. So let's do it like that. 20 light guns, some medium guns, 1 AA. It's not the most important refit, but you know what? Let's save and finish that anyway. Yeah, we're going to use coal because we don't want to do a complete refurbishment. But this means this guy is only going to be out of service for 2 additional months, really. And that's going to be a-okay. Right, there are still a couple of ships under construction, and a couple of them that we halted. Also notice that we have built a couple of corvettes, which I think we should be building more of. So let's try to do that. Let's try to build another 6. That is costing us some money, but I still think that's going to be a good idea. Yeah. Also, we're going to get the light cruiser next turn, so that should be fine. Right, we have another convoy attack here with medium battle size, and we've now a lot more forces here in the area. 8 battleships, a couple of heavy cruisers, light cruisers. So hopefully this is going to be going better than last time around. We do see a little bit of a surface engagement here, but yeah, it's again a night engagement. You can see it's pretty much in the middle of the night, so that's not good. And we don't have that many ships. Pretty much only a couple of destroyers here, which are of which class? The Matsukaze class. You've got 8 torpedo tubes. Now, that might actually be okay. Our torpedo tubes are a lot better than that of other guys, so maybe this is going to be worthwhile. Here we go. These are the first unidentified ships that we are sighting. What we can do is, of course, try to be a little bit faster here. I suspect that these guys might be light cruisers, which of course is slightly annoying. Oh Jesus, look at how many ships they've got. Well, I sincerely hope that we're going to send torpedoes their way. Looks like they've got destroyers, and we have scored the first hit here, so that's nice to see. On the other hand, there they go. That's the second hit here, which they are getting. These guys are withdrawing. That's okay. We pretty much want to focus on these trade ships, and these here are definitely trade ships. So that's nice to say. I suppose we can go a little bit slower here and try to send more torpedoes. There are 2 torpedoes in the water, that's good. Unfortunately, these did not hit anything. There we go. That's 1 hit on this transport ship, that's lovely. Lots of gun hits here. Another salvo of torpedoes being launched. This is fantastic. Not sure what you're trying to hit here. This is a pretty long distance to try and hit. These guys might be hitting, but these guys look promising down there. Yeah, but they're actually passing through, so they did not detonate. That's unfortunate. But yeah, here we go. 2 more torpedo hits. That is fantastic. 1 more. 2 more. I'm slightly concerned that we're only hitting this guy here now, so I'm actually going to ask these guys to hold their torpedo fire. There's actually only 1 ship that has any torpedoes left. So we might have a certain overkill here on this particular ship. So let's see whether we can come closer to this ship, sort of pass alongside it. Maybe fire off a couple of torpedoes here. Which ship is it that actually has torpedoes left? Kirasagi, so the last one in the line there. Let's take into account that like this. Okay, this ship has already sunk pretty much, so I don't think we need to be too concerned here. So let's try to double back. Yeah, it has sunk now. Let's try to find more ships. We want to sink at least 6 so that we can claim the objective as being fulfilled. I think these 3 ships are pretty much safe we can be safe in assuming that they are sinking. Let's just pass by this one more time. There's another ship right there, which is still moving about, and which is actually starting to fire upon us, so this might not be... It's an AMC with medium guns, so it's an armed merchant cruiser that actually has 6-inch guns, but it's essentially a commercial platform, so let's see what we can do about him. Well, we are definitely scoring hits here. Yeah, these guys should not be capable of engaging against us, really. They can score some hits, but it's never really that successful. Now this line here of 3 ships, that's a lot more likely to cause damage to us, so let's try to get away here. There's no point in losing ships. Well, I say that, and we are being hit by a torpedo here. Unfortunate, of course. Now you are... Let's try to detach you. I don't think that's going to work, but because it is already sinking, so there's just no way around that. Right, can I get everyone to come back here, please? And you know what? We're going to send you over here. So I'll try to cross the T of these ships. I'm somewhat concerned there about these ships down there. I think they've got our bearing a little bit. Let's try to get here. I think there might be more merchant ships there. Guess we can go for 5 minutes here in a single turn. We're running 25 knots, so that's not too bad. Ooh, but there's an engine room hit. Yeah, they're definitely trying to come behind us, and I do very much suspect that they do have light cruisers, so sometimes it's unfortunate, but you still might see situations like this where we have superior fleets in the theater, and they still get away with bringing more forces. Now, we don't find anyone, so we're going to go for a line of breeze formation now, in the hope of just covering more area here. Did you register that? Yeah. Potentially I might need to do a turn here. Come on. Can you please get into proper formation? Independent line ahead, line of breeze. Right, okay. It's gonna work if we do it like this, I suppose. Yeah, now these guys should be turning together. And if I tell you now to not do that anymore, no, you're going to go in line ahead formation anyway. Well, alright, I suppose. What's happening down here? Well, this might be the limit of the engagement range here. By the way, notice that you can control click 2 places, and your ships are going to go there automatically. Okay, now they finally registered that change. Although one of these ships has, I think, misunderstood signals or something like that, and is therefore not coming back to us. Yeah, but it looks like we didn't get the six ship here, the 6 transport ships. Unfortunate, but sometimes that does happen. Let's dial up the speed here a little bit. See whether we can find them. Would be a little bit of luck now, but sometimes you are lucky. Sometimes what also happens is that they get stuck in this sort of land formation thing. Ooh, someone has sighted an unknown ship. Well, okay, if they are here, then of course we're going to try to get here. Yeah, right. So it might be that we have spotted them after all. Now that looks like a convoy, alright. It also looks like ships that are still... Oh, notice there's daylight coming. Yeah, we've found the convoy again. So there are a couple of AMCs down here, and I think we're going to try to get down there into the midst of these guys. There are a couple of destroyers down here, but I suppose we can beat destroyers, right? Well, the alternative is trying to get here. And while these destroyers are chasing off our single destroyers, our 3 destroyers coming in from here are going to get in between all of these merchant ships and basically sink all of them. Here's proper daylight. So we've now got full control. We've now got full visibility of everything. Although, notice there's a glare, and of course the sun is rising in the east, so that means that we are a little bit less likely to hit, and you probably can see that if we go to the hit chance. Oh, no details here, but yeah, that's definitely something that can happen. So that's going to be less relevant as we are getting radar installations and stuff like that, but at least in 1935 that's still a consideration. But as we are getting closer to these ships, I suppose that very soon we should start to see them hitting the enemy here, actually. So let's get rid of the turn together. Let's get you back into a line ahead formation. You're actually in that already, so that's nice. And let's come over here. And we're now getting very, very close to these ships, which I suppose should mean that, yeah, there we go. Couple of good hits there. I think that ship should slow down pretty quickly here. Start to fill up and basically sink very rapidly. Yeah. Lots of very just like knife fighting range hits here, which should basically get these guys to sink rapidly now. Let's try to catch that guy who's trying to escape to the north there. Oh, notice there are a couple of destroyers coming our way now. We'll need to be slightly mindful about that. And we are starting to lose main ammunition here. But we have sunk 6 ships now. 6 transport ships. At that point, we might ask you guys here to... Let's keep in mind our gun range. So very soon we should see that we can now engage these destroyers down there, who are actually engaging us too, so it's kind of interesting. But yeah, let's try to score hits there. We've got a good... Well, the only disadvantage is that the wind is coming in from the north, so smoke is blowing away from us, and that impedes our ability to target them that well. And we're still actually fighting, firing at the transport ships there, so that's not good. But we might be able to sink a couple of destroyers here as well. And I think you are starting to fire on the destroyers there, albeit unsuccessfully. Okay, we are now on parallel courses. Let's briefly check on what they've got. 6 4-inch guns. 3 5-inch guns, 6 4-inch guns. We, on the other hand, have 4 5-inch guns here, so we should be winning this gunnery duel, especially if one of these guys breaks off and comes closer towards us. Although, on the other hand, we have less ammunition. We're now crossing the T, so all of our guns can fire on these guys, whereas only their forward-facing guns can fire on us. But with the speed of destroyers, that is not a very meaningful distinction. We can actually start laying torpedoes on them as well. And I suppose we should go to the south here, make a bit of a turn. Get them to be in the smoke. Near miss on us. One of our turrets has jammed. That's not good. And we'll need to make another turn here. It's a small duel. 3 destroyers against 3 destroyers. But nevertheless, any good hit here would be very welcome. And notice that Yugami, this guy down here, is still scoring hits on some transport ships down there. So that's still going to be a good development there. We could try to get more of these guys, but since we are already short on ammunition, I'm slightly concerned in using that on these guys while these destroyers are around. Kizigari is firing torpedoes, I suppose, on some of these transport ships. They're really far away though. And you're starting to fire on these guys now, which is slightly annoying and not what I really want. On the other hand, our 4th destroyer is coming back to formation here, so that's pretty good too. And it appears like we're driving them away, doesn't it? In which case we can actually turn into the transport ships and harass them again. Yeah, these extremely long-range torpedo attacks, they're pretty worthless, but closing into gun range here, doing some rapid fire on these transport ships. That should be, we should be able to sink them nicely here. And even though we have already scored enough hits to really do well, let's try to get you guys to be a core part of this. So you're not independent anymore. But the destroyers are coming back for us, so we'll need to do it like that. Try to get the 4th ship to really join up on us. Yeah, but I don't think we need to do this gunnery duel, so let's just simply come back to the south here. Let's dial up the speed a little bit. Sink more ships. Most of our ammo is now gone. Yeah, we can detach one of our ships to gather some troops, some survivors. Come on. Let's sink this guy too. Okay. If you want to play hardball. Okay, now we've got absolutely no ammunition. We're going to detach people to pick up survivors. That's going to be okay. That is going to give us some extra points, and it's going to give us prisoners. So basically, well, it's not and give us prisoners. It's just going to give us points, which I think reflects prisoners. But that's okay. And here we go. So, we have lost one of our destroyers. The one that was torpedoed. 1 did suffer heavy damage, 3 light damage. 2 of them, no damage at all. On the other hand, the enemy lost 13 auxiliaries, but no destroyers. So, net warfare capabilities has gone down for us, but there's a lot of points that have been gotten for us, and you can see 300 points for picking up survivors. That's nice. 800 for the transport ships, and a lot for sinking that many ships. So, that's pretty good, I think. Good number of victory points here. We don't need to save that battle. It was mostly culling off of civilian ships. Right, a couple of things that have happened here. So we got one of our new light cruisers, and we also submarines. Nice submarine capabilities. We're also getting an improved version of the torpedo bombers, which we actually carry a lot bigger heavy bombs if we don't use them with torpedoes, but with bombs instead. They're also a little bit tougher. That's nice to see. Range and speed seems to be unaffected, so still. We are losing some points for enemy control around Borneo. That's not good, but why Hawaii there's fighting. Losing a single ship here. So we sunk 4 enemy submarines. They sunk 7 of our ships. We lost a submarine. But other than that, notice that it's actually the German Raider heavy cruiser Blücher, which sunk one of our heavy ships in Northern Europe. Interesting that we'd venture that far. Lots of reports here. We don't need to be too concerned about that. Jeez, look at this guy. 26 knots, 14.5 inches of belt armor. Yeah. Reports slightly differ whether it has belt armor 14 or 14.5 inches. But that's understandable. Now, there are a couple of ships here that have some sort of issues. So let's open this design here for rebuild. Let's briefly check on whether there's anything that we'd want to change. Well, we definitely want to get you to get dual-purpose guns here. That wouldn't be the worst. You've got a good number of 6-inch guns. You've got a good number of 8-inch guns in dual turrets. Sorry, 4-inch guns. 8. So that's 4 turrets. Why do I see 6? Slight bug there, I guess. You don't have any torpedoes. On a light cruiser. No, we do want torpedoes. We are a torpedo nation. But we can't use centerline torpedoes. So we would have to use D and E position torpedo tubes. Would that work? Yes. Yeah, and it's actually informing us that there's a mismatch here, so we might want to do the autoplace here. That doesn't change much. It's just sort of graphical representation. What we could do is get you guys to get better guns. Better secondary guns. It's not that many, but still useful, I suppose. Right, let's keep it like that. Let's get you at least 2 AA directors. Some more medium guns. Some more light guns. Some more mines. That gives us too much top load. So only 6 light guns. Does that make sense? Yeah, that's a legal design, and I think it's a better design than we had before. We could go for increased elevation here, so that increases the range of our guns. Sounds like a good idea, doesn't it? We've got directors, we've got dual purpose. I think this is good. Do you see Throw's minesweeping gear? Oh, we could even do that. Yeah, why not? Okay. That's why you can't. Okay, yeah, fine. Let's save and finish that. We're going to rebuild that guy. Anyone else? Yeah, a couple of these destroyers and stuff. I'm going to check on them offline because that's just too small ships to be bothering about. We've got the Suma, our raider, which is now currently working up. That's good. Our construction leaves us with a little bit of budget left. That's nice, of course. So what I might want to do is resume the construction here. Yeah, that works. So finally we're going to get a couple of new destroyers, which is good since we're losing some. I would like to build that heavy cruiser, but we can't right now. We're rebuilding that ship, that's okay. Yeah. So, that being said, I think this is a good place to put in a cut. So, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Do leave a like and everything, and I hope to see you around next time. Bye bye.